I pray that whoever needs this, that it finds that person, even if it's just one person. To God be the glory. What's up, y'all? It's your brother Brandon, and as you could already see, this is the title, 21 Weeks Sober from the Grass. Baby, it has been a journey. Gotta hold on, ready or not. I wasn't gonna make this video at first. I helped my brother and his fiance move today, and my energy is like low, but I had this on my heart, and I was like, look, be obedient and just share what you've been going through in your journey, because it may help somebody. So I'm gonna just start with the beginning of this journey. I started dabbling in the grass about 10 years ago. That was my first time like doing it. It was social, around friends. It wasn't really something that I did all the time, but throughout like that first year, I did it like probably once every couple of months. Then that next year, my father passed away, which this year it will make 10 years since he's passed. My father was a chiefer himself. He dabbled in the grass as well. And so for me at that time, not really knowing how to deal with emotions or the fact that I'm a sophomore in college and my father has just passed, this substance was a way to connect to him. And also going back when I was 18 years old, so I lost my father at 19. I started first time smoking at 18. I at 18 years old had became a RAPE survivor, and that I was under the influence during that time, and that was also me losing my virginity. So that I think also had an effect on why being under this substance felt like it shielded me from feeling things that I didn't want to feel, or things that I didn't want to come to terms with. But throughout life, as time went on, when I became a junior in college, then it was like I got my first chosen family, my friends, queer friends, and we all would use this substance as to connect with each other, to laugh. It also, like in the beginning, it like made things feel better. It made things feel more vibrant. It made getting some good feel even more vibrant as well. And it started to become something that I did more on a recreational level, that I did on a more consistent basis. Nothing was really alerting or alarming me at that time from God of saying like, hey, leave this alone. Because, you know, I also don't think it was so much of an issue at the time. Now, alcohol was there as well, but I have more alcoholics in my family than I do stoners. So the alcohol, I was like, I don't really want to deal with that. I'm gonna let that go. But you know, the grass, I was like, this is great. Like, this is dope. It makes me laugh. It like, you know, after a long day, this is like, taking the edge off. Then time goes by. I have a month in between undergrad and grad school where I traveled to California for grad school. And in that month, I didn't have any grass, and I was really going through it. And that should have been an inclination at the moment, but I was like, no, I'm cool. I'm gonna just wait till I get to Cali, and then I'm going in. Well, that ended up happening. I went to Cali, and I went there for grad school, and went to my first dispensaries, and you know, and it still, even though I'm sober, it isn't something that I demonize, or that I'm like, oh my gosh, if you're a stoner, get away from me. Like, it, again, helped me connect to people. It helped me, I don't know, just, I was coming out the closet around that time too. And it just like really helped me, deal with or not deal with these emotions that were too hard to bear. And then around like my second year of grad school, which for actors, it tends to be the hardest year of grad school, That's also when the pandemic happened. Yay! Trauma! Not a funny matter, but we have to laugh, right? But that's when, I think a lot of us, things really like pause, and like this thing of like, this disease, COVID, can get any of us at any time. So what does that mean for me and my life? And also, like, we we went to whatever things we needed to get us through these feelings. And you bet your butt that was the devil's lettuce for me. But also around that time was really when God started to be like, all right, hey, you're going to need to let this go. And I was like, yeah. But I need this. Now, when I was in grad school and even when God started to say this, I still had it to where I didn't smoke before class. I didn't smoke before rehearsal. I only did it at night. And it was like my way to like end the night. And because of what it had gotten me through and what I connected it with, I never really saw myself letting it go for a long time. But still, God kept tapping me. Hey, you're going to need to let this go. You're going to need to let this go. That's when I started to try to let it go. I would do cold turkey, go right back to it. I tried to wean myself off from it. When I went cold turkey and tried to wean myself off of it, what arose? Alcohol. And I'm like, damn, I don't think weed affects you as much as alcohol, so I'll just go back to weed. And it became this push and pull with me and God for a long time, where God was just like, you need to let it go. I'm seeing signs all around me, but it's like, this is how I connect to my friends. And I had also realized, like, this is something that I need. I was going through some things with my family and just me coming into my own. And so anytime I came back home, it was also something that I needed to be around family. And then I started to realize that with sex, 90% of the time, I had to be under some type of influence to even enjoy it or do it. Then I also realized with eating, I could not eat with, like, it started to grow. Remember when I only did it at night? Then it started to arise during the pandemic. And so now I'm like, damn, like, I can see that this is becoming a thing, but I don't want to let it go, man. So it's continuing to rise. And that's when I get into therapy. And I had already been in therapy, but I hadn't really talked to my therapist about, the ganj. And now I had started to, and my therapist, especially during the pandemic, we were really cracking down on what the root of these things were, of like the influx of how many sex partners I had, of how I eat food, how I don't eat food, how I interact with people, how I pull away from people, and also this usage of this substance. And again, like, the thought of like letting it go or letting it lessen had came up, but I was like I had totally saw like, no, this is going to be the thing that I do until I'm older, because my grandmother, she had also said, oh yeah, baby, I've been smoking since I was 15, and like I still do it to this day. And so for me, generational things, I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna do the same thing as my grandma. I'm gonna do the same thing. But then you start to find the flaw in that, and you go, but yeah, you can say the same thing about alcohol. You can say the same thing about eating choices. You can say the same thing about health issues in our family. And is it okay to still do it just because our other family members do it and because they've always done it? And that's when things started to dawn on me, like, oh man, maybe this is something that I'm going to need to really consider changing. But I just wasn't ready at the time. I just was not ready. I wasn't ready. Nope. And now, did I enjoy disobeying God? No, not at all. It really hurt. I know it sounds crazy, but it really hurt for me to even do these things, because I'm like, I know God don't want me to do it. And I know we don't always need to know the answer of why, but like, God, this has gotten me through too much. Like, and I know it's probably even taking the place of you, but like, God, this is what I know. But faith is the things that are unknown. I know. Come back for part 2.